Oh, right, it's fucking springtime. Jesus Christ. I forget how humid it gets in spring. Whew, it's very warm in here. I'm a bit flustered. So, the group watch part 2. I don't think I'm going to do any more follow-ups, but I figured we've watched, like, fucking 20 more movies since I did my previous part. Didn't really do a great view-wise. I don't really care. I just find it interesting because when I had released that, like, 2 weeks ago, my mates were like, hey, why didn't you talk about Deep Throat? I'm like, I hadn't watched it. We hadn't watched it by that stage. So let's talk about the group watch part 2. This is more or less just a catalogue of what the fuck we watched. This is mostly myself, Bill, and Guy. Very briefly joined by Simone and Pierre and Helene. These are my friends. So I think we finished last month off with King Arthur Legend of the Sword, I believe. Maybe with Pitch Perfect 2. So I'm just going to jump from there, and we watched on the 24th of September, because we watched 2 in September, Resident Evil Retribution. I'm not going to give ratings for these movies. I don't really care to. I just want to kind of tell you what I watched. It's a fun film. I think we didn't have a streaming service for this, so I chucked on my Blu-ray player. Like, I have a portable Blu-ray player, so I just put it on that, and we just watched. And, like, I watched that, and they watched it on, like, Amazon or something. Maybe they... Yeah, they did. They watched it on some streaming service. Maybe it's Binge that, like, I don't have, because I can't be fucking buying it. And I'm like, I already have the film, so I'll just watch it on Blu-ray and just watch it with you guys. So that was fun. I think we watched it with Simone. Then she left, and 3 of us that remained watched a 1972 film called Deep Throat. I watched that on my phone. Because you can now add XXX movies to your letterbox. So, yeah. That was an experience, and it was mostly just kind of commenting on how dull the story was, and then how just stupid, like, just some of these sex scenes were exceptionally long. Of course, this movie's porn. I had known about this film for quite a few years now. I had never seen it, never cared to. Don't really care for 70s porn, not my thing. For good fucking reason. However, they didn't know that the reason it's called what it's called is because the woman has to perform that in order to get an orgasm, because that's where her clitoris is. They didn't know that, so when we got to, like, the hour point in the film and the doctor explained that, and then she performed that thing on his Johnson, and which was like 8 or 9 inches or some shit. They were fucking going insane. Like, what the fuck is this movie? So, yeah, interesting. We didn't watch the sequel. Thank fuck. That was the weirdest film we watched, and that wasn't even the lowest rated. I gave that like a 1.5 above the next film, which we watched like a week and a bit later, because we actually watched on the following weekend. Yeah, we did, didn't we? Fuck. I'm pretty sure. I don't know, actually. I don't know. At some point in this time, we either took a week off, or it took a few more weeks for us to get to this, because I'm pretty sure it was after with the Lone Wolf and Cub movies. We watched, as per Guy's insistence, the 24 show. He wanted to watch the whole first season, which is 24 hours of a show, in a 24-hour period, consecutively making sure our clock was tied up with it. So we'd started at midnight, and we'd go from there. Every time there was an ad break, we'd pause it. Every time we had the timer on screen, because it's a show that, like, during its ad breaks, you go one timer there, and then the ad break starts, and then the timer comes back, and it's like 6 minutes later or whatever. So there's stuff like that, but then there's, like, obviously there's, like, real time and real time, which is a thing you learn in media studies, where it's like, there's real time, which is like, the movie Victoria plays out in real time, you know, but then there's real time, which is double EL, where it's pretty much cutting time together, you know, how time is presented in the period of the film. So 24 does have both but, it's presented in real time because every hour that you're watching this on, broadcast TV is an hour in real life. It's an hour in the show. However, there are times where it's fucking clear as shit that, they're going to walk down this staircase here, but instead of them walking down the staircase and you watching it completely happen in real time, they just cut to two different angles, and there you go from one side, then you go from the bottom there. So that's like 30 seconds cut off. So they've got shit like that happens. So we realized that was a dumb idea to watch it like that, so we just binged it as it went. We were still doing it per hour, so at the end of each episode, we watched like an episode of I Think You Should Leave. We got 10 episodes in. Bill had quit about 4 episodes in. He'd gone to bed because it was like 3, 4 a.m. In the morning. And Guy and I survived till the 10th episode, and then we called it quits after breakfast. We got to about 10 a.m. and we're like, he just couldn't do it anymore. And I was like, yeah, cool, alright, we're done here. So we quit it, called it quits. They both finished it. Bill watched the rest of the season like that day, and Guy watched the rest of it like later on. I never finished it. I got 10 episodes in, and it was really interesting. But fucking hell, doing a 24-hour binge of 24, not a good idea. Like, maybe, sure, if we were all in, like, the same house or whatever the fuck, maybe interesting. But, Jesus, that is a bad idea. I don't suggest it. I really don't. It's an experience, sure, and it was something to behold, to be awake from 12 p.m. on the Friday, because I usually don't get up till 10 to 12 o'clock on a Friday, because I have 3 days of work. I like to get some fucking sleep. And so being from 12 p.m. on the Friday, awake all the way till 10 a.m. the next morning, watching the TV show as it goes from sunset to sunrise, it's an experience. So it was interesting. This is like the 2 most interesting elements of the whole entire group watch that we had, because the rest of the movies we watched, Red Planet from 2000, sucked, fucking shit. But then we went on to Criterion Channel, so we watched Lone Wolf and Cub, Sword of Vengeance. It's pretty good. Then we watched Baby Cart at the River Styx. That was even better. And then we watched Triple Threat for some fucking reason on Netflix. It was meh. But then we continued with more Lone Wolf and Cub with Baby Cut to Hades. And that was the last movie we watched. We were going to watch the whole franchise, well, all 6 movies, and then we were going to watch, we're going to mix the Zaiuichi films with the Godzilla films, and I was really keen for that, but I wasn't keen to be sitting on my computer every night watching these movies when I could be watching Sopranos and everything else. Like, there's so much other stuff I wanted to watch, and it was October, it was spooky month, I had to get my horror kick in, so I convinced them Invisible Man, the original, 1933, on Criterion Channel. It was pretty fun. They'd never seen it before. And then we did a double feature, which was a fan edit for It, Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. So, that was interesting. It was like 4.5 hours of someone had cut the 2 movies into the chapters of the book. It was interesting. Not fantastic. They're not really fantastic films, but it was interesting. I gave the whole thing 3 stars. I only logged it as the first film. But still, then we watched Venom. Still can't watch this. Well, we can watch the sequel now. We're allowed to go outside now, so that's great because lockdown's ended. But Venom was kind of dull. I gave it 2 stars. I've seen it before. I saw it in cinemas. I think I watched it again on Blu-ray after that, and it was fine. I don't care for it that much. Then we watched The X-Files I Want to Believe, because for some reason, again, this was also worse than Deep Throat. I gave it a star. It was just bleh. Really bad film. But then we, made up for that by watching The X-Files Fight the Future, which I gave 4 stars. Much better film. Much more enjoyable. We watched a couple episodes randomly of The X-Files throughout this mix. We watched random TV episodes from shit, there was a Transformers show, the Beast Wars, we watched like 2 episodes of that. We'd watched the Silver Surfer show. I think that was like the month before. We watched a lot of I Think You Should Leave. Actually, I'm pretty sure we watched all of I Think You Should Leave. So Bill had now seen all of the fucking show. We just kind of binged it randomly. It was fun. It's a fucking good show. But then we watched The Nutcracker in the Four Realms, which I was really excited for because, come on, Four Realms. Anyway, let's move on. Let's pretend I didn't say that. Then we watched She Was All That. It's fine. It's fine. Another 2.5 star film. It was fine. Bill kept referencing the fact that this was like not another teen movie, but worse. And I'm like, yeah, no shit. This film came first, then not another teen movie. That's how parodies work. But then we finalized the month with a pretty bad double feature of superhero movie from 2008, which was, I mean, I like it because I enjoy nostalgia. It was very nostalgic for me to watch that. Not a great movie. Not a great movie at all. Those movies are usually pretty shit. Because, of course, we followed it up with Scary Movie 5, like, the next night. And that was terrible. It was just very boring and very offensive. Especially the vacuum cleaners. But to make the, like, month and night end well, we did finish it off with Dragon Ball Super Broly. So, an interesting month. Definitely a lot of hope to do something interesting, not the porn side, but like with 24, with the Criterion channel. And to be fair, given that I'm paying my own money for Criterion channel, I don't pay for Disney Plus, my girlfriend does, and I don't pay for Stan on Netflix, my parents do, hooray. I mean, I technically do, because it's a part of, I pay board, so, but like, when you don't directly get it from your bank account, you feel fine, and mostly I'm paying for food anyway, so. But the Criterion channel, that's something I actually pay for myself, because I can use it. So, it was nice at least to be like, holy shit, we've used the first week of the month to watch like 4 or 5 films from the Criterion channel. That's so good. That's like $16 on 5 movies. I wonder how many more I can get out of this. About three more movies, I think. I watched like a Dracula film and the Raven, and I watched a few more films. I think I probably watched about 7 or 8 films from the channel this past month, which was for October, which was really cool. But yeah, I mean, none of these films I had except for The Invisible Man, so at least that was interesting. Yeah, that was probably the best thing that came out of the whole thing. But yeah, so I don't plan to do another follow-up for the group watch. Whatever the fuck we watch is whatever the fuck we watch, but definitely just cataloguing how the idea of watching 24 like we tried to was very interesting. I don't plan to do it again. We wanted to, and we wanted to be like start the second season at like, I think it was like 2 p.m. was when the second season started, and it was like, we were talking about that on like the 9th episode, and I was just like, yeah, I don't think I'm gonna do that, because we still have to get through the first season, and then like we had breakfast and that like an hour later we're like, yeah, nah, fuck this. So yeah, it was definitely a surprise to everyone in my house when, my mum got up at 7 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and I came out to make myself a coffee and have breakfast, and she's like, oh my god, did you do that thing we have to stay up all night watching the show? I'm like, yeah, we're still doing it. We've got like 20 minutes until the next episode starts. Because again, we'll start each episode on the hour. So, yeah. I don't know, I pride ourselves in actually like trying that. And it was interesting. If it was like during the middle of the day, it would have been fine. And then you would have gone overnight. You probably would have gone a bit tired. But then you probably would have passed out or died by the last couple of episodes. But, well, it is what it is. Anyway, thanks for watching. This is how we have survived lockdown. Now we don't have lockdown, but we'll probably still be doing this Friday, Saturday nights. It's just a thing we do now, which is fine. I mean, obviously work's going to pick up for probably some of my mates, so it'll probably drop off a little, and hey, I might have Friday and Saturday nights back to some degree to watch other shit. I mean, I'm almost finished Sopranos now, so it doesn't really matter what the fuck else I do, but, I've got a plenitude of other shows to watch, and other movies, so yeah, as you can tell. Anyway, thanks for watching. And thanks for staying tuned to these fucking chronicles. Oh, Riddick. Goodbye. Oh, sweet Jesus.